Like, who does that? It was insane. Me getting that car was insane. Them allowing me to get a loan to get that car was insane. Everything about that move was insane. What's up, YouTube? This is Ludwig. I'm back again to tell you more about how I got out of $238,000 worth of debt. Today, I actually want to share with you some of the mistakes that I've made. So today I'm going to share you a couple stories of some of the worst financial decisions that I had made along my debt-free journey. Let's go. So back when I was about 23, 24 years old, there was this car that I wanted so badly, that I had been watching YouTube videos all the time, that I've, coveted and then test drove and really wanted. And it was this car, the Subaru WRX, which is an amazing car. Back in 2013, it was a hatchback. It was this crazy, like navy blue, purple, pearl. It was fast. It sounded great. It was a lot of fun. And I hadn't even finished college yet. I was working part-time hours. I wasn't making enough to afford the car. But near the end of my college career, I got an offer from the job I was interning for, the company I was interning for. And they gave me a letter. And when I looked at the letter and I looked at the proposed salary, I thought, well, why can't I just get this car now? I mean, I'm gonna be making some good money, so why would I wait to get it? So guess what I did? I took my offer letter from my job. I went straight down to the dealership. I slapped it on the table and said, here's my offer letter from my job. I can afford this car. Here's my credit history. And they took the offer letter as word for a job that I hadn't started working yet. I had not gotten my first paycheck yet. So they just took the offer letter. They ran my credit history. I had great credit. They talked to a manager and they're like, hey, why not? He's gonna get a stable job. He's gonna have a decent income. Let's just give it to him now. So what's worse than that is that I said, hey, I'm not gonna start working full time for a couple months. Is there any way to delay that first payment for a few months? The bank they were originally gonna contract me with for the loan wouldn't do that, but there was another bank that did. So I got a loan at 23 or 24 years old. I hadn't started working full time yet. I hadn't gotten my first big boy paycheck yet, and they were already willing to sign me this loan for about $29,000 or $30,000 on a car with no money down. I didn't have to pay a payment yet. I had signed on another 30 grand of debt on top of the student loans that I had, which I believe were around 160,000 at that time. And they were just willing to give me that loan. People are willing to hand us over debt. They're willing to hand us over this loan, this debt, so that we're gonna spend years paying it off for something that we just refused to wait for. Everything about that was insane. Me getting that car was insane. Them giving me a loan based on a job that I hadn't worked yet was insane. Every single thing about that was insane. So there I had my brand new car, my brand new loan. I didn't think about it. I just made my monthly payments. Once I started working my job, I had lots of fun with the car. The car was amazing. It sounded great. It was fast. It was fun. But soon I started to realize, once I did start working that job, that I didn't like the job very much. Now, a lot of that was due to the fact that I was brand new. It was the first time I was working as a professional. I did have a learning curve to catch up on, so it was really difficult. But once I did become proficient in the job, I still realized that there was something that really didn't fit. I didn't fit in the job. I didn't feel right being there. It wasn't that fun. I didn't feel the purpose. It felt like, we're just trying to make money, which I know is the bottom line of any business. But I feel most people want to feel that there's a strong purpose behind what they're doing. And I really just didn't feel that. Combining that with the fact that the workload was very high compared to the man hours that we had or the help that we had, it was a very difficult job. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to continue in that place. But over time, I buckled down. I said, I'm going to be great at this because that's how I am with everything. So I doubled and tripled down. I got way better at my job. I became quite proficient. And soonly after, within less than a year, I received a promotion. to being a manager after recognizing the strides that I had made and the performance that I was putting out. So after I had become a manager, which meant more pay, but more hours, more stress, more responsibility, and a job that I already had a pretty difficult time with, even though I was doing well at that time. So after taking on the extra stress, the extra responsibility, the extra hours, and the extra pay, I told myself, because hey, this is in line with what we're taught in this American dream, is I'm making more money, I should get nicer things. So what did I do? I went and took that Subaru WRX and I traded it in for a almost new, it was like less than 1 year old Audi S4. It's black with a red interior. It was awesome. I'm not even gonna pretend like I didn't love the car. Car was amazing, but this car was $50,000. $50,000. And again, this is not even 2 years since I had purchased that first Subaru WRX. I'm trading into another car that is $50,000. Absolutely insane. Now, honestly, if anybody were to look at my salary at that time and then look at that car, they would say it made sense. That guy should be able to afford the car, i.e. afford the monthly payment. Now, that may have been true, but here's the problem. See, now I was in this job that I was working incredibly hard for, working off hours all the time. I couldn't sleep at night. My anxiety was through the roof. I was literally having panic attacks on the way to work. And I soon realized that maybe this isn't the right fit for me. Maybe this is not the right place for me. I probably should look into being somewhere else. So when I started to think about that, what I quickly put together is that if I had left to go work anywhere else, I would have had to take a drastic pay cut, which would have been okay if I wasn't already drowning in all the debt that I already had. Now, mind you, I had almost $160,000 or $170,000 in student loans. I now had this $50,000 car put on top of that. Sure, I did put some money down, but it wasn't really that much when you compare the cost of the car. And plus whatever other debt I had. I think I had some credit card debt by that time. And I felt paralyzed. I borrowed a crap ton of money to get that degree, to start working that job. And I borrowed a crap ton of money to buy a car to try to compensate the stress that I was having at that job. I figured that, hey, if I'm going to be this stressed, I might as well have something nice and fun to have in exchange for it. But I never thought that, hey, maybe I should take less money and have a lower stress, happier job. But I couldn't do that because I had already borrowed all that money and I didn't have the freedom to make that choice to take something else. And that's the beginning of my debt-free journey. That realization that I couldn't change the life that I had because I was paralyzed by all the debt that I had. And that was the beginning of me making a choice to say, I'm not gonna have all this debt that's going to hold me back from having the life that I have. And the powerlessness that I felt, the pain that I felt, how paralyzed I felt in that moment, I swore I was never going to feel like that again. I promise nothing was ever going to cause me to feel stuck and powerless like that. I swore I was gonna pay off all my debt, no matter what it took, no matter how long it took. And I did that. You know, it took me 5.5 years to knock out all that debt because I made more mistakes along the way. I had a lot of bad habits to change. I had to change a lot of attitudes about money. I got on Google, I searched how to get out of debt, and I got this book called Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, and then I smashed the like button for the YouTube algorithm. I followed the steps. I focused on having a small emergency fund. I listed every debt that I had, smallest to largest, and then I started paying them off. And in that was my car loan for that Audi S4, which was an incredible amount of money in monthly payments and insurance and gas, and the occasional maintenance was coming to almost $1,000 a month. Payments for my student loans at that time were, I believe, around $1,500 a month, which was absolutely insane. We're talking about a mortgage payment for student loans plus my rent. I was living downtown in the city because it was close to my job, and plus everything else that I was doing. I was spending a ton of money. I was spending a ton of money. I couldn't afford the way that I was living. I didn't know that I couldn't afford the way that I was living because I was able to make all these monthly payments. But what I realized was is that when I wanted to change my life, when I wanted to move, when I wanted to look into a different direction, which I thought would make me happier, I couldn't do it because I had already signed my life over in these loans to a specific life, to a specific salary, to a specific job. And having all that debt kept me in the way from changing my life to what I believed would have made me happier. Along that journey, I realized that I couldn't afford that car, so I had to sell the car at a $6,000 loss, which, yes, I had to pay $6,000 to get out of that car. What I did was I went to my bank, I took a personal loan to sell the car that I had, and I bought a much cheaper car, which was like $16,000, down from $50,000. So that cut my debt that I was in by $34,000. And I paid that car as part of my debt-free journey off in 2 years. So I, just like every other loan, I'd knock out every loan one by one, and then eventually the next loan was my car, and I paid that car off in less than 2 years. That car is still that car that I have now. It's 10 years old, it has 175,000 miles. It still runs great. I love the car. I love the car most because I don't have any car payments. That money stays in my pocket every month. I can invest that money. I can invest that money into myself. I can invest that money into my retirement or into growing this YouTube channel. So make sure you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And I can do other things that actually make me happy with that money. You know, I'm not strapped into a thing that I borrowed money for. I'm not strapped into a life that I may or may not want to change for whatever reason. You know, I'm not stuck. And that's the best feeling about being debt free. I'm not stuck. I have the option to do something else. And that is the most powerful thing about being debt free. I have the option to walk away. I have the option to do something else. So I want to continue to teach you guys how to get there, where I am now, where I have options, where I can change my life, where I can go somewhere else or find another job or change my life in any way that I need to, because I don't have debt and payments and the worry of making a next payment to hold me back from doing what I really want to do. And I want, for anybody who wants that, I want to help them to get there. So smash the like button, follow me, and subscribe, hit the notification bell. And I'm going to try my best to give you all the knowledge that got me to where I am. And hopefully I want us all to grow together. Peace.